When I first heard "It's not where you start, it's where you finish," it was from Tom Dutra, my goalkeeper coach at St. Martin's, and is now the Seattle Sounders first team goalkeeper coach. It's a motto I took to heart and have lived by until just recently as I've started to adapt my own understanding. But it clicked with me, because from where I was starting and knowing where I wanted to be, I had a lot of work to do. I grew up in Montana, not exactly a great goalkeeper at the time, but I was a good athlete. I played hockey, rode mountain bikes, motorcycles, skateboards, and everything in between. I was constantly in motion, and fortunately, my parents, Brian and Claudia Lubin, who are here tonight, were the most supportive parents a kid could ask for. Their unwavering support throughout my life started spending countless hours driving around the country's fourth largest state for practices and games with both my sister and I. Then the country itself for tournaments, and even a year across the continent when I played AAA hockey in Canada, one of the world's top youth hockey leagues. They provided me with every opportunity to succeed while teaching me the value of hard work and self-belief that I could achieve my goals in any field if I worked hard enough. My first goal was to play college soccer, while my second was to be a professional soccer player. The decision to attend SMU had come full circle as my recruitment trip was facilitated by my uncle Rick Meyer, who lived in Olympia. He had a connection with the newly appointed head coach Rob Walker. Not only did my uncle put me in contact with Rob, but he also is the one who sparked my dream of being a professional soccer player. He gave me an autographed ball from Casey Keller when I was 12 years old. Casey was an idol of mine, and it was around that time when I'd seen him play with the U.S. men's national team I had first said, I want to be a professional soccer player. That was the first time Keller had influenced my life, but wouldn't be the last. On the second day of preseason my freshman year, I was pulling into training for an early goalkeeper session, and there he was, Casey Keller in the flesh. I was starstruck, an uncontrollable grin that I can still feel in my cheeks today. He was back in the Pacific Northwest for off-season training before heading back to Germany. He had come to work with Rob and Tom, as he had done many times before, and after that session I was sold. I knew that if I did everything Rob and Tom told me to do, there was no way I wouldn't be a professional. Looking back on it, I might have been young and naive, believing that I could be a pro, but with the values my parents had instilled in me and the environment Rob created, it was here at SMU that I transformed from being just an athlete into a goalkeeper. But as good as my freshman year started, personally, with that one day of meeting my idol on the playing field, we struggled. It wouldn't be in vain. We started 9 freshmen, all quality players, but as 18-year-olds, we could not keep pace with the upperclassmen around the league with years of collegiate experience. As with all success, it takes time, persistence, and patience. So again, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. Considering we finished in last place, there was nowhere to go but up, and we did, finishing in third my sophomore year. We had added some very talented freshmen who, like my class, were tested early and gained valuable experience that not many freshmen get. Luckily for us, we were only turning over 2 players going into 2009. They were our captains, Tucker Maxwell and Daniel Palermo, the only veterans from my freshman year. Tucker and I, being the only 2 out-of-state players on the squad, developed a lasting friendship when most of our teammates would go home on long weekends and holidays. He taught me a lot about soccer as well as leadership, and was an honor of mine to follow in his footsteps being named team captain that year. But our friendship didn't end with graduation. Tucker has continued to support me throughout my career, opening his home to me through many off-seasons, and keeping a hungry athlete fed is no short order. Though Tucker and Daniel, who are here tonight, didn't get to be a part of that championship season in 2009, their leadership and work ethic laid the foundation for what SMU's first conference championship was built on. I don't think any of us knew at the time what the 2009 season would bring, but we had put in the work, learned from our losses, and started to enjoy the wins, growing in confidence as we knocked off nationally ranked opponents and finding ourselves at the top of the table. Finally, on a waterlogged pitch in Nampa, Idaho, after a long rain and lightning delay, our trials and tribulations have paid off, and we celebrated our school's first ever GNAC championship. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. As hard as those first years were, we finished 2009 as champions. Just as it had started, my time at SMU had finally come full circle again when I was invited out to train with the Seattle Sounders, a moment like the first time I had met Casey Keller I will not forget. Sitting in the Sounders locker room, nervous, wondering if I belonged, in walked Keller, and before I could reintroduce myself, he reached out, shook my hand, and said, "Hey Zach, how are you? It's great to have you in with us today." My childhood idol, who started the dream of being a professional soccer player, woke me up from the dream and into the reality of being a pro. I'm now going into my 8th season as a professional, a journey that has taken me around the world. But the saying, "It's not where you start, it's where you finish," has taken on a whole new meaning, and this Hall of Fame induction has confirmed that. It's not about where you finish, as I don't know when and where my career will come to an end. It's really the journey that gives your end meaning. Just like the conference championship felt more significant because of the struggles we had gone through to earn it. As honored as I am to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, I'm most grateful for this opportunity to look back and reflect on my time at SMU and all the people who have been involved in my journey, to which there are countless. I wish I could be there tonight, but more importantly, I have my parents and other friends and family there in my stead, because without them, none of this would be possible. Thank you.